Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We've come into our target price, so we're going to be discussing what we think is going to happen from this point. Okay, so let's get into that right now. Okay, so what we're looking for within this is the potential of actually coming up here towards this zone of this 31,127 to this 30,769. So we've actually come up into this area. The thing is, within the structure, there is a little bit of an overlap here, so there is potential that we could actually still have a little bit higher to come here, and we could actually look to push up towards this 31127. We are also looking for the possibility of a bigger structure here, so we have to be on the lookout for the possibility of extension within these waves themselves. So we're going to discuss that as well. But primarily what I'm looking for here is if we want to count this as a completed move, what we would be looking for is the potential that we could look to count it like this, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have had a fifth wave to the upside. So the key thing with here is I wouldn't be anticipating a move back above this zone of this $31,000. If this is the case, what I would like to see here is basically see this move form at least an ABC to the downside, something like this. So if this is the case, what we could be still looking for is the possibility of extension. So really, until we actually break down past this 29,290, sorry, 29,923 rather, basically we always have to be on the lookout for that potential extension to the upside, where this actually has just become another 1 and a 2 here. So this wouldn't really fit into the idea of this count where we have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're extending out in a bigger fifth like this. But it would fit into the other count we talked about yesterday. So I'm just going to flip onto that so we can talk about that quickly. Basically, looking at this alternative where the third wave is actually completed into here, and then we're looking for a bigger wave 5, something in relation to this. So, for the most part, we could argue that even within this structure, we could look at this as a completed move, but we need to just have confirmation. So really, until we actually break down and take this low of this 29,637, there is always the potential we could look to extend to the upside here. So this is what we need to be aware of. There is still potential here. We could see a little bit higher. We have this channel directly above us towards this 31,271 region. So this is still a potential target. And like I said, we've come up into this box, but the higher range of this is this 11,31127 region. So we haven't come up into that just yet. So because of that fact, I'm looking out for that possibility of extension, like I said. So potentially we could have a completed move into this high, in which case we need to sort of watch and see what happens from this point. If we lose this fourth wave here, then potentially we could see a deeper retracement that's going to be playing out here, where either this move is a completed move here, and we're going to look for deeper retracement back down towards these zones of this 28,387, or alternatively what we could have is a completed corrective move. So we did discuss the fact of a bigger flat correction here in the previous video. So I'm just going to flick onto this and talk about this quickly. So we need to be just aware that there is still the potential that this could be a flat correction from further back here. So we need to be on the lookout for any kind of a 5-wave move to the downside here. This would look to actually break us back down into some of these key areas lower down here, and potentially it could even look to sweep this A wave low. So we don't have any confirmation of it, but it's something I'm just keeping an eye out here. This could look to bring us back down towards this center channel line here, and potentially looking to take out, this A wave low, or at least this zone here. So we'd have to obviously monitor this move as it plays out to the downside, but some potential targets for that, like we discussed in the previous video, would be this 1618 here, which would be this 27,566. And if we did measure this differently, we'd be looking for this 0.618, this 25,365. So this is still a valid option here, but for as long as we hold the support, we can look for higher prices. So let's continue looking at that possibility. So within that, basically, we're talking about this fifth wave looking to complete here. And now, if we are wanting to count this as an additional 1 and a 2 here, this could then mean that this is a 5-wave move completed for wave 3. If this is the case, we could see a breakdown towards this 29,279 to this 29,882. If we do get a three-wave move down here, potentially we could be looking for continuation where this becomes a one, two, three. This all becomes a fourth wave, and then we look to push to the upside. So this is still on the cards. It's still a viable option here. I just don't like the internals that much of this wave here, but for as long as it follows the count, we will have to just bear it in mind and keep on going and see how that plays out. So this would be looking for that as deeper retracements. Really, the lowest support zone that I want to see here would actually be, I'll just change this now. Lowest I'd want to see us come here, if we're looking for continuation, would be this 28,454. So we were looking at that possibility this could have completed into this high point, but now if we want to argue differently, we could say that, potentially this move has actually completed up here, and we could be looking for, a deeper correction for a wave two if we're looking to extend out. Obviously, if we hold this 29,279, I would still be looking for that potential within this structure that we have one, two, three, looking for a fourth, and then we'll get another additional push to the upside as a fifth. If, however, we lose this zone, we could be watching this lower range here of this 28,454 and seeing how that holds out. If we start to lose that, it becomes more likely that we're actually going to see, this move take these lows here and then, potentially look to complete this move to the upside here as either a corrective move, or as we talked about in the previous one, it could be potentially a fifth wave of a extended wave one. So with this in mind, what we need to think about here is what's happening on the shorter term here. Is this starting to extend out and break without coming back down into these zones? So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna talk about some of those things. So within that, basically, one thing I'm looking out for is this zone here, this 30,311 to this 29,923. If we do just break down here and we get a three-wave move back into the downside here, maintaining this 29,923, we need to be aware there's always the possibility we could see further extension. If we did come back down to the 618, which if I draw a line across these two highs here, brings us into that sort of area, 50% slightly above it here at this 30,300 region. If we did come back down into this zone, what we could then be looking for is a bigger third wave to the upside to play out. If that does play out, that could take us as high as this 32,430. But if we lose this low of this 29,637, this would invalidate this potential of extension to the upside as we have it marked up here. So there is also potentially another way we can also look at this move, and this is actually, this is something that would be having a higher support zone. So this is something to keep in mind for as long as we hold above 30,200, is if we subdivide this move differently, we could potentially argue that we have one, two, and then another one, and we're looking for a wave two here. If this is the case, what we could then be looking for is potentially a move that into this higher support zone here, this 30,599 to this 30,373. If we just form three-wave structure here, we could be actually extending out even more within the waves. And this is what we have to look out for when we are looking for, potential third wave moves, is there's always the potential you can see these kind of moves play out where we don't actually come back down into deeper support zones, and they just start to extend out and then look to push much higher. So the key thing here is that what we would be looking for is a move up towards this 31,784, and that would be looking at this potentially as a wave one, two, another one, two, and then we look to push up for that third. If we want to argue that we can subdivide this move like this, what we also need to be careful of here is the fact that this whole thing could still be a flat correction, and it could be just a corrective move to the upside here, because we do have a bit of overlap here. There is still ways of counting this as five-wave structure, which doesn't have the overlap, but it would, it's not very neat. So I'm just being a little bit cautious with it. just because of the fact we do have a little bit of overlap here. If this starts to move away, then it confirms the fact that the way we're looking at it is right. Alternatively, like I said, potentially we could complete into this high, and we could look to take out this 30,205 and this 29,637, which would invalidate that potential of a direct extension to the upside. If we do stay above these levels, we need to be watching for moves up towards these key target areas. So like I said, if we do come down deeper here towards this zone of this 30,500, which would be a 0.618, or if we come down even deeper towards this 30,373, we could be looking for a move towards this 31,814, provided these areas hold. If this area doesn't hold, this low is going to be the next point to watch. If we lose that, I'll be watching this next low at this 29,638. If we lose that point, what I will be looking for is basically that support zone that we talked about earlier, looking for the potential to find support again um, in this zone of this 29,882 to this 29,279. And if we do break down into this zone, and find support, potentially what this could mean is that we have another potential move to the upside, which could take us to this 31,807 to this 31,305. So this is why it's a little bit complicated up here. There is the potential this thing could just actually, continue to blast off to the upside here, but we don't have confirmation yet, and really we want to see whether this retraces, finds support, and then pushes back up, or whether we actually start to have a bit more of a breakdown here and come back and test some of these lower ranges here. So this 29,358 would be looking at the possibility that we have something like this playing out, where this is all actually within that third wave. We're looking for a fourth wave, and then we're going to get this fifth wave move potentially to the upside. A key zone is obviously this previous structure here. The low here comes quite close to this 382, given the current structure that we have up here. So this would be something I'd be keeping an eye on. If it does extend on deeper, potentially this 29,358 could be a zone we find support. So this is all looking for that bigger move. We've talked about this for a while now, the potential of extension to the upside here. Um, if we want to confirm this though, basically what we need is a move that's quite a lot higher than where we currently are. We're looking for this 35,192, to confirm this move. Looking at this higher zone as a five-wave move, 1, 2, then all of this would become wave 3 up into this area of this 35,192, and then we'd be looking for the potential to, you know, hit this target of this 38K, but we don't have that confirmation yet. We are maintaining support zones and pushing up, so it is promising, but we need to see the follow through now. We need to see the structure maintain, and maintaining these previous fourth waves pretty much. The 29,645 would be a key zone currently. If we lose that, basically this 29,358 area is going to be the next zone that I'm looking at. But really, until we actually take this low here of this 27,783, we have to just be mindful that we could just actually start to, extend up here and take out some of these higher levels and continue to push. So this is what we're going to be looking out for today and over the next couple of days, keeping an eye on this. We'll keep you up to date with the structure. So with that said, make sure that you're subscribed so you can get kept up to date. If you enjoyed the content, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find links to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both Primex BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.